digital technology which allows for the sharing of ideas and information amongst its users has become part and parcel of community life. While it has improved on education and many other things, many argue that this technology has massive consequences on its users. Good evening, televiewers. You're welcome to Divine Mercy Radio Television, where the program hitting your screen at the moment is Issues. On this edition of the program, we shall be looking at some of the ills of social media and how we can work as a team to mitigate these ills, which is occurring in our community. I am Fomucha Mirabel for presentation, calling on you to stay tuned as the program unfolds. You can always join us by sending us your contributions either on Facebook using Divine Mercy Radio Television, and you can go to the comment section and let us know your opinion, or you can use the number which shall be displayed on the screen to let us know your opinion via WhatsApp. Don't go away, we shall be right back. Good evening once again and welcome to Issues. I am happy to welcome here on set our regular guest on the program, who will be sharing with us their wealth of knowledge, and which is coming from their experiences having been part and parcel of this whole social media technology, this digital technology, which more than 5 billion persons use on a regular basis. They will be sharing with us their ideas. Welcoming on set today, Madam Sarah. I see you have jotted a lot of things. Good evening and welcome.
Thank you so much, Madam Mira. Good evening, televiewers. Good evening, Mr. Tebo. And we say keep watching and stay tuned as we continue this discussion.
Thank you for joining us, Tebo. Lucas, how are you doing?
I'm fine. Good evening.
Good evening and welcome to the program.
Thank you.
So today we are looking at social media, and our focus is going to be on the ills of social media, because we know that yes, social media has a lot of positives which sometimes derail us from actually realizing that it has a massive negative impact on our community, and that's where our focus of discussion is on this edition of the program. And we are going to start by looking at life in the community before, because now we are in the social media era. What was life? How was life, before, and how are you enjoying life now, Tiwo?
I think it's an interesting topic. Life before social media, or before, let me say, the advent of social media was kind of analog. I want to classify it as an analog era and a digital era. Because in terms of connectivity, we weren't that connected. In terms of engaging with each other, talking about issues, it wasn't as tight as it is now with the advent of social media. So what social media brings, which we didn't have then, is this connectivity, is this engagement, is this interaction, is this feeling that you can get to talk to somebody in 1,000 miles away with a call. You can get to have somebody have a serious discussion through a simple phone call or message or something like that. So I think while the analog era had its own uniqueness, it was kind of real. It was natural. People were communicating mostly through letters or one-on-one interaction was there. People had to listen. People were there for each other. The empathy was there because it's a whole new level when you get to talk to people on a one-on-one basis, face-to-face kind of conversation. Is deep. Is much appreciated. It's impactful than when you use the digital space to carry out that communication. But with the advent of social media, it's different.
A lot has changed.
Everything has changed. People get to interact differently. They get to interact more frequently. They get to be exposed with the waves, with what is happening with the social media. Their influence. They have people they look up to, who they want to be like. So they are exposed
people
to
they have never met.
People they have never met. They are exposed to information all around the world. So they learn a lot. Their brain is open, and it is quite challenging to deal with all that heavy information flow, because there's a lot of competing ideologies in your mind, whether what you are living is really a life worth living as compared to what people on social media are living their own life. So it's kind of challenging, and it makes it very interesting and risky.
Interesting. Now, Madam Sarah, what do you miss? We are in the social media era. What do you miss in the analog era?
Madam Mira, truth be told, when I shared this on my status yesterday, about 50 persons came and was like, yes, social media has really destroyed the community life that used to be before now. And when you sample opinion like that, and then you hear a number of persons keep telling you yes, they were like yes, because I put and I was like, people should at least send in their share their own views. Everybody was like yes. Before now, that love, that binding spirit, it is different talking with you and feeling your pain, seeing you and chatting, and I know what you are passing through, rather than just talking on phone and I cannot feel it. And now there's a lot of misinformation on social media. We are not well informed, but back then you have that community life, that life that the town crier on that particular day you have to go around ringing the bell,
exactly, to give a particular announcement,
a particular announcement for everybody to meet, and they will meet and share, and then they will be very happy.
And things were very effective.
It was effective, and that love of being together, being one another's keeper was really there. But with the coming of this social media, yes, it has come to really develop our mindset, but us the user, we are destroying the use, maybe what the purpose it was meant for. Yes, we are out of it, because now people do not really have time. I was just talking with somebody before coming here. We chatted for about 5 minutes, and the next minute we are all on our phones. After about 5 minutes,
the discussion was exhausted already.
Yes, but back then we would talk, get into family life, get into business life, get into challenges. But after about 5-10 minutes, we have to check.
You could even sustain for 5 to 10 minutes.
Yes,
you guys tried. Yes. To discuss for 5-10 minutes without going to your phone to see what is happening. You did well.
I'm telling you. But then you will see that we are more focused outside than within. Because the person you are talking with at that moment maybe does not really matter. But before this social media discussion, chatting and all the like, we used to have that bond. I'll come and visit Madam Mira. We will laugh, discuss, chat, and we'll talk about things that have passed, things that we foresee, those things. But if I come, I remember the day I came to the house, within 15 minutes,
everybody was on their phones.
Everybody, and I'm sure you raised this topic.
I said, please keep the phones.
Yes. So that something should be done. I think those that introduced us to this, they need to re-educate us
on how to use
it,
because we are abusing
the use of this social media. Maybe they sent us something and maybe they did not, because most often we will hear that even the whites that are producing this, they don't use it the way we are using it.
You know, Africa is always like that. When they bring Christianity, we take it and we own it, as if we are the one who discovered Christianity. Exactly. We sleep in church, but the white man, when you go for mass, they know it. 30 minutes, 45 minutes, mass has ended.
Yeah. Those who brought God here.
Yes.
Bread. In our own culture, you have to go to church, you have to sleep in church. If you don't sleep in church, you have not prayed.
You have not, yes.
Exactly. You haven't prayed.
I think that one critical aspect which this new technology has brought in terms of a seismic change or shift is this aspect of listening. You know, the Holy Father Pope Francis in 2022, I'm not mistaken, he talked about the importance of listening. You know, listening, we neglect it a lot. We've lost that touch in terms of listening. So that listening is an important or a critical ingredient in terms of dialogue and communication. With social media, we've lost it. People no longer listen to each other. You talk to each other, but nobody's really listening to
you.
Yes, initially you have a problem, you could walk down to a friend, meet somebody, explain your problem, you cry, the person cries with you, you could share the problem, discuss about it.
The two of you cry over that
exactly. The person takes you to your house, you come back to the person's house, people keep walking up and down discussing that problem. But now it's not like that. People are so distracted with everything that's around them on social media that nobody has the time to listen to you. In 9 out of 10 cases, if you go to somebody with a problem, you say, "Well, Mama, I have a serious problem." So what is it? You say, "You not imagine that my husband, she's not treating me well." This man, before you want to go and tell that discussion, it's a moment that's why they listen to the same matter. The man begin now. You need to say a two-face on divorce. That's why the man begin now.
You don't trust them.
Yes.
Don't die hard.
Don't die hard. That's why you know. Look at and they follow some blogger. It does say man begin them. So it is difficult. The aspect of listening has been taken out of the community, and as a result, people die with their own problems. People don't have solutions. Yeah. People tend to rely and depend on foreigners, on social media influencers
people
they don't know, for them to guide them on how to live a successful life. Yeah. Meanwhile, most of the life those people they depend on are living fake lives.
Yes.
So it makes the whole thing chaotic. So so there's absolute need for direction. There's absolute need for us to come back, to have some kind of social media sabbatical, to take some kind of a break upon yourself, to take a retrospective look, to understand that, are we using this the right way? Am I using this for the purpose to enhance communication, to improve engagement, to improve myself by learning good things, and rather than just using social media for comparison and to show off? We have to answer this question.
Yes, I think I just want to compliment what you said, because sometimes or often somebody gets up and writes to you, "I'm not feeling fine today." And you say, "Oh, wait, but what is happening?" So, "No, I have a headache." "Oh, sorry, Ashia." And that is it. But before now, if someone tells you they are not feeling fine, day one, the second day they will move up to your house.
Exactly, yeah.
But all we do now is, get up the next morning. How did you sleep? Who you slept with? Say, "Well, I'm feeling better."
Exactly.
So don't bother. God is in control.
Yeah, and that is
it.
If you're even lucky to get that feedback, because you might tell somebody you are seeing and the person is distracted.
Yes.
Something comes, you say, "Well, as I told you yesterday,
I forgot totally.
I just see some video where the people on social media are crying. How they are skinny." So
you're saying something. The other day I was not feeling fine. Like, let me call somebody to get me some drugs, and then I called and the person could not pick. I went straight to a friend. I told that friend that if I call, the person will not pick, and then the person will not even bother to call back. If we join our minds or we join our heads, put this call, the person will do it. But before now, when you explain that you are not sick, now people just look at life to be very simple.
Exactly.
Because of the social media life or way of life. You see things and you start imagining that is how life should be. You look at somebody on social media and the person says his or her own thing, and you are following. All our focus is on social media,
and it is breaking the community life.
Yes.
Because in terms of health, when we're growing up, when someone heard that, "Hey, Mami Fomucha is sick," before you know it, the neighborhood is informed that Mami is sick. And you see neighbors coming together to pray with you, to discuss with you, to tell you it is well. And just that feeling of togetherness it relieves you. But now, honestly, when you're sick, if you don't pick up your phone and tell somebody I'm sick, nobody bothers.
Yes.
People only know that some people were sick when they are dead.
When they are dead.
When they hear that, "Hey, this woman is dead," they say, "Hey, was she sick?" "Yes, I heard she was sick. I heard." So it is really destroying community life. And there is one point you also raised about the town crier. You remember before, the town crier will say that 9 o'clock for morning time, may Oma Uko we collapse and hold community work. Yes. And you see, at 9 o'clock, the parents will be there to make sure that even if they don't have the strength, their children should pick up their hoes and cutlasses to go for that community work. Because nowadays we are complaining of dirt littered everywhere. That's part of the degradation of the society because of this. It's still because of all what we are talking about. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. If you hear a town crier coming out now, they'll look at that man as if that man is mad.
Yes.
You know, they'll look at the person as if the person is mad. In as much as we are going to get into the details of how social media is destroying relationships, is destroying families, let us just look at some of the strengths of social media. Begin with you, Debo.
I think whether we like it or not, in as much as we might want to criticize the advent of social media, it is a force of good. It has come to change and revolutionize the world, and it has brought in a lot of innovations and changes for good. One of the factors that we are very appreciative of in terms of social media is the very fact that it's a platform to bring communities together. To create interaction, to create engagement, to create discussion, to discuss on real life issues, whether it's personal issues, whether it's community issues, whether it's governmental issues, whether it's societal issues, is very important. So much so that it kind of gives a voice to critical aspects of society which are often neglected, like domestic violence, like crimes and the rest. So social media has come to give that voice and giving voice to the voiceless. Because initially it was difficult for, let me say, an ordinary person to kind of have a voice, right? But now even somebody who is in Furawa can criticize a minister who is in Yaoundé. You see, somebody who is in Ashong can criticize a president or a mayor. So it gives that kind of a voice. It's a microphone that kind of shout out to the ills of society, which is very important. Another important aspect is that it's a source of employment to many people. In as much as many people on social media for different kind of reasons, there are also many people on social media who are making a decent living out of social media. They use their God-given talent to produce educational content, entertaining content, and selling to the population and making money in return. It's a platform which also gives a lot of opportunity for learning, education, because basically the world is fast changing, and in as much as we have nostalgia for the yesteryears, we can't say that we shouldn't embrace the new technology with smile, because actually this is the new dawn. I will still prefer this time over the time of the time prior. So it gives opportunity for you to learn new things. You learn around the world. There are people, those social media addicts or fanatics, I want to call them that way, who know more about what is happening in America than people who are in America.
Yes.
And it is thanks to that connectivity of social media, which gives that. So I think generally it's a force of good. The fact that you can call somebody who is abroad or is in a different town and you have a conversation easily, the fact that you can talk to your loved ones, the fact that you can be at work, maybe you want to talk to your kids, you can give a call and talk to them, the fact that you can drop a message, the fact that you can hold a Zoom meeting during a crisis period to reduce cost of transportation. So there are a lot of advantages which I think that makes the use of social media or the advent of social media a very, very, if not one of the greatest inventions in modern times.
Thank you so much, Madam Sarah. What are some of the things, some of the benefits which you enjoy so much about social media?
Like Mr. Tebo was talking when he mentioned about the call, like giving your loved one call, those out of the country. I just sit and I thought of those periods where you go to a call box and just to make one, then you talk and that 1 minute so that 500, then you will be shivering. The truth is, it has really there's a lot of development when it comes to this social media life, way of life. Many things we are learning, we are connecting ourselves, and people are gaining employment through social media. And people are being entertained through social. You know, today people are passing through this a lot of depression. But when you go on social media and then you start get those content that will make you laugh, and then you start relieving yourself. And it has also come to widen or bring the world together. It's a platform that has helped to join people, to connect. Like Mr. Tebo was just saying, yes, we are here in Cameroon. I'm here in Buea. I may not even know half of what is happening in Mamfe, but already I got a message yesterday that there's food shortage in America because the president has deported some Mexico persons, some Mexico
Mexicans,
citizens back home. So they are those that are even there. They are afraid to go out and work because they are the massive that produce food, so that the others too can benefit. But I am here. I am still struggling to get some of those information, because information from my own country, it has really helped us. That is true. It has exposed us. There are many things we learn. Though there's a kind of fake life, but there's still some way of life that we think that it should be like that. Yes, but we are just only trying to say that some persons are just abusing it. Yes, most people just go now on social media to blackmail others, and people who do not know the real story about the issue take upon themselves and start throwing stone on the persons which they have not even discussed. Before now, they may come and ask or discuss with you. Now, people privacy are just being exposed.
There is nothing like privacy any longer.
There's nothing like privacy now on that social media platform. But it is not still bad. It is not still bad. Though we look at it that way, I think that if there is something the government can do, they're talking about cyber criminality, how effective it is, because every time you hear of that, but the more you keep hearing, the more the crime wave keep increasing. Now there should be some way to modernize some of those things. There should be some restriction. I think there should be some restriction on what people do on social media. And before you just come out to create any content, I think there should be a follow-up on what you are supposed to do, and they must pass through a certain line, because today I can just decide and create a page, and from there I start posting whatsoever I want to. I may not even dig not to know if Mr. Tebo was putting on a red shirt today. I've not even seen Mr. Tebo, but because I got a slight information about Mr. Tebo, I just go on my page, write every kind of nonsense. So the moment they start struggling to guide us, I think all of us will enjoy this social media way of life. It's a good one, because we just sat yesterday and we thought of it, and then we are on air.
We're on air, exactly.
And we are discussing. That is
we didn't need to write letters and wait for days and months before we get replies. But honestly, I miss some of those days when you stay in your house and someone knocks at the door and say, Mirabel, your brother will be calling you tomorrow at 5 p.m. The excitement to listen. In those days, you have to go and sit on a queue and wait for that call from the US or from Germany. I miss those days too. I miss those days too. But anyway, we still thank God for social media. I miss those days of relationships. We are getting now into how social media has destroyed and is still destroying relationships. Exactly. I miss those days of writing letters. When you are writing a letter to someone you love. I can remember, even when you are in class, when you have held your book like this and you are seriously concentrating on that book, your teacher will just come closer to you and say, let me see, are you writing a love letter?
And that letter has a beautiful flower on it.
A beautiful flower drawn on it. But now we just have emojis now. I love you, send an emoji. Emoji which you did not take time to design it. Emoji which has been designed for you. So that originality is missing in our community life. Now let us look at how social media, because before I knew that before you get into a relationship, in terms of a love relationship, someone you want to end up with, our parents taught us, and what we saw is that you live in a community, you identify a family which they say that family must be a good family. You look at a girl, you say, okay, I've seen a flower here. That flower must be coming from a very powerful tree, not any kind of a tree. But now I see hook up, break up on social media. Pages are there, hook up. So let us look at let us look at how is the social media affecting relationships?
A lot. I think that generally, in terms of mindset of the people, we've had a very drastic shift in terms of how we look at life in general. Even in terms of the standards people have, relationship standards, it has drastically changed from maybe 20th century to to the first
21st
century. There are
century.
two different kind of things, and a lot of factors can be can be attributed to that change. But I think that social media stands out to be very, very much the prominent one. The standard for a relationship in those days where we're looking at a woman from a good home, we must know the woman, know her family, her parents, and so on. That's why our parents insisted that you must marry a woman from your tribe. The reason was because a woman from your village, they can know the history of that family. They know to call to the village that na mommy and so this is Pekin. They'll say, no, that family, no, that family, they crazy for day early. No, that family. So they can know that. But it has changed because social media has come to redefine what is marriage all about, what is beauty all about. Initially, people used to think a beautiful woman is one who is hardworking, who can bear children, who is fruitful, can bear children, can take care of children. But those standards have long gone, they are dead. Now we have new standards of a relationship. Some people believe that a beautiful woman is one who is a working class woman, who is educated, who is tall, who has X and Y kind of this and so on. So there are a lot of there are different kind of reasons that people can give, but the role of social media is in terms of relationship is that it has first of all it has created this community, because we have a virtual community, which is a social media community, and the other community, which is the offline community. And in the social media community, standards are defined by bloggers, influencers, and the very rich, the people who have following, who can pose or who can show off their kind of lifestyle, and then people tend to believe and think that's the norm, that's how it should be. So these standards are changing gradually and very fast. So what you might consider to be the standard for an ideal relationship today might not be considered a standard in 2 years' time, because information is circulating at a very high supersonic speed and it's changing everything about relationship. People are showing off relationship. People are taking care of a woman can be richer than a man, and a woman can buy gifts for that particular man, but brandishes on social media as a gift the man has given her. And people tend to believe, because we have high level of digital illiteracy still in Cameroon and in Africa, so much so that people generally believe everything they see online is true. Meanwhile, that is not the case. There's a lot of fake news on social media, there's a lot of misinformation. And most importantly, social media is like a movie. People put some of those things out there for just content. They are just there for entertain. They don't really mean what they are saying. What they are putting there is not the reality. But because we don't have that adequate information and training and mindset to interpret and pick out the right information from the wrong one, what is meant for entertainment, for comedy, for just information's sake, you see that we tend to get a lot of negative kind of attitude from social media. And as a result, people who are locally based, who don't have anything here that can contribute to effective running of a relationship, they are putting a very high standard and a very high bar for a relationship. You see an ordinary girl, say, around, who doesn't work, who is totally dependent either on their parents or a boy. He wants to compare with a relationship with a man in Texas, when the woman is earning $30,000 a month, the man earning $25,000. So it cannot go. The standards are different. Say, no, a man cannot talk to me. A man cannot shout to me. Who is a man? Oh, I don't want chauvinistic men. Oh, female, this and that. And then there's this new aspect they talk about women's right. I don't know. There's a term people use. Empowerment. Yeah, women's empowerment. A woman cannot be shouted. But it is because they have been absorbing a lot of information in a different society, which doesn't fit into our context. Because whether I like it or not, information is meant for a particular context and a place and a time. So you cannot take an information that is true in the United States to be true here, because the situations are not the same. There are laws to protect women, to protect children, the vulnerable population. Here those laws don't exist. So because of that, even if they do, nobody implement. Here it is survival of the strongest, the strongest and the richest. But because social media does not differentiate personality, you can be quarreling with somebody who is a truck pusher or is how help, and you are a minister, two of you in a WhatsApp group, you quarrel as if you are mates. But meanwhile, in real life, you cannot stand that person. Yes, social media does not know personality, and because it does not know personality, people just consume all kind of information, including information that is not meant for them, and they tend to use that information to implement it in their real day life. That is why we have chaos. That's why we have divorce. That's why we have breakups. That's why nothing is going. because the standards are so high that an ordinary person in Africa or in Cameroon cannot catch up. You just can't catch up in terms of the relationship standard an ordinary girl in Moliko or in Douala is setting for you, an ordinary young man. It's the kind of life that Davido is living. You cannot afford it. So you see they keep crashing, there's abuse, there's all kind of things going on in terms of that. So it is caused by just this general information that keeps churning on social media, and people keep picking them and then using them just the way they think it suits them.
Yeah, and like you said, social media has brought a lot of competition. We compete with, or comparison, sorry, who want to compare with people who don't even know.
Exactly.
Because I am dressed this way because I want you to see me this way. That's how social media is.
Exactly.
Before I came here, I was dressed differently.
Exactly.
That was my real, I was dressed differently. So when you go to social media, they tell you what they want you to know.
Exactly.
They don't bring out the baggage, the real baggage. And so you see a social media influencer somewhere telling you that if your husband cannot feed you, that is not a husband.
Exactly.
Like the other day we saw, is it Davido? The wife was feeding Davido, was giving him okra on his sick bed, and you will see people will have problems with their wives.
Exactly.
Just because maybe they fell sick and could not be fed.
Yes.
By the
But the wife was doing something else, which is even beyond that feeding, more
Exactly.
important than that feeding.
Exactly.
So I think that's what you're trying to say, that we try to copy what we see on social media, and most often 99 those people are making their money. If they tell you how much they make on social media,
Exactly.
it tells you how far people can go to deceive. No, we allow ourselves to be deceived.
And Madam Mira, I observed something. These days on social media, the real persons, they will not follow you.
Yeah.
Yes.
If you're real, if you're genuine, no, you don't have that.
No, you don't have the following.
You don't have the followers. Those crazy ones, those ones that come and tell those fake
What
news
you want to hear.
Yeah.
that we yes, those things that if they want and they are coming like, okay, it should not be like, it will not be like that. It is supposed.
They tell you that if your husband cannot sponsor you, that is
Exactly.
not a husband.
Yes.
So you go home and say, but you cannot sponsor me. You start having unnecessary
Necessary
problems
Exactly.
in your
In your
relationship.
Exactly.
Those are the persons that you will see a lot of persons following them. But those ones that will come and tell you in real life, or they will tell you that it is not like that. Don't see this social media way of life and you thinking that what they are saying is the same thing they are living. That's not true. Those persons, you not see them with enough followers. So we are turning our back to follow those evil trade. Like we were talking about writing letter. Back then used to have this small mat. This man, they have song, this Westlife song. Before that person comes and gives you that letter, the person has copied in one line of an empty street.
An empty heart. You try to know the wordings of the song.
Yes, just to put it there and draw a small nice flower. Then when it comes and gives you, that's how you'll be smiling the whole. Today you don't even have time. We don't even have time. We are all busy.
And those things, they brought you people together.
Yes, because,
You know,
because generally, privacy is always it's an effective tool to keep a healthy relationship. That is why those who have mastered the art of social media, who are celebrities, they don't take their relationships to social
media.
Because bringing a relationship to social media, it exposes the relationship to all kind of negative issues. There are social media in-laws who are they telling you what to do, what is right, what is wrong. And they say that 2, 3 is a crowd, right?
Yeah.
And generally, when people were born and raised in different homes, different communities, they have different mentality, they have different ways they look at life. And once you expose your relationship to that kind of public scrutiny in the marketplace of social media, it becomes very difficult for that relationship to sustain, for the foundations of that relationship to hold tight till infinity, because the standard in which you guys begin to evaluate yourself is different. It is no longer the standards both of you can really afford, but the standard society has imposed on you based on expectation on social media that you have to meet, and there is no way those kind of relationships can survive. At some point in time, they must break. It is just but normal. But if you take your relationship off social media, we're not saying that there will be no problems, but you tend to limit the kind of problems the relation exactly you mitigate the kind of
let me just give you an example. I remember one of these stars posted the child on social media.
Mr. Kubi.
Oh, I've forgotten
Kobe Ubana.
I don't know.
No, this-
I just know it's a singer who posted the picture of the baby, a newborn baby, and within seconds, someone commented, "That baby does not look like you. That baby looks like another person."
Yes,
Maybe it was the assistant of the husband.
Exactly. That alone can cause a lot of problems. We neglect those things, but they do, because no matter how, even if you have a thick skin to resist certain comments, some of them really get to your nerves. Yes, because they are deep.
Chinwe.
Yes. I heard that the legal action was taken, something like that.
Yes.
But no matter what you hear on social media, that comment must run really deep.
Exactly.
Because it's a very, very provocative statement.
It is.
But did the child look like the husband?
It was a whole problem on social that they should conduct DNA. The social media we are the
Social
ones
media
now.
in-laws. That knows our
Social
own.
media in-laws, and my worry was both the couple and the child,
Yeah.
because they say the social what is on social media stays.
Yes.
Exactly.
That child will grow up
And we'll
in
see them.
future, will see that.
Yeah, that's stigma.
And you know, that child can ask the parents to go for a DNA.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that brings you a problem in your whole your family that just lasts forever.
And then the person who might even be commenting, he said nobody.
He said
the person is
nobody.
still in one small corner in Nigeria. The person has come back from farm, eating his eba, just
Very
take his
tired
phone
and
try
just text
and
and
just
just
bring
write and
confusion in the
just-
life of another family. It's terrible.
This is what we are talking about, the practicalities of the ills of social media, and we are sensitizing ourselves so that we as individuals, we can help ourselves. You're not helping another person. If you use social media correctly, you're helping yourself, you're helping your family, Madam Sarah,
And your
what are some
community.
and your community.
Exactly.
Because now we are in a community that everything goes. Whatever I get up in the morning and see on WhatsApp, that's the truth.
news.
And another critical aspect is disrespect. I have never seen
relationships.
a generation
Yeah.
that disrespect each other like this generation because of social media.
Because of social media.
There is no standard. You see, you belong.
The
in
values have fallen.
Exactly. You are privileged to be added in a WhatsApp group with some personalities.
Yeah.
You just
talk
come
to
there
them
and
as
just
if, because you can type on social media.
no, because you can
Somebody
you can
might
afford
write
an Android
you just
phone.
say, I see people in WhatsApp group with senators and MPs, and an opinion is raised, and the senator might say that, just shut up, idiot. I mean, you ask yourself.
It's
I mean, on
terrible.
social media,
Yeah.
you like, are you okay? How can you say leave people? They come here and say nonsense on social media. I said, but it's because of this social media. That's why you can share a platform with this personality.
Exactly.
So the fact that social media has brought us together in a community, it has really destroyed the moral fabric of society. Nobody really recognizes another person as an authority. Everybody on social media is the same. People insult each other. People talk anyhow with each other. And so when some people decide to start pulling away, they say, the man, the one claims a big man, oh, this and that. It is because of the disrespect. It's because of and it has moved away from social media, even in the street.
Yeah.
You pass in the street, people just insult you anyhow. You're not standing properly, so you get out, you fool. I mean, and that is particular in Cameroon. In other countries, not like that. There's a lot of disrespect in this country. There is a lot of disrespect in Cameroon. The disrespect rate in this country, Douala is the worst. The disrespect rate in this country.
I'm sure, boy, it's not.
I say you see people insulting each for nothing.
For nothing.
I saw
Why?
a video on social media, Madam Mira. Then I thought of it. When we're growing up, you see an elderly person correcting you. Then you really
humble.
Yes.
But
You
that is-
listen.
You will
Where?
see a guy, a small boy. One mama was advising him, like, carry up your
Trousers.
That guy took up his phone. You know, everything now is just social media. And went on that TikTok directly, and he's doing video abusing the mama.
Doing the mama.
He's showing them. He is showing the mama, showing himself, abusing the mama, talking and sending it on social media.
Which in itself is a crime.
It's
Because you cannot record people without their consent, except they are in a public space or public gathering. So it is you. So the problem is ignorance. People are just so ignorant, and they are bold in the ignorance. People
Where
are
is the
bold,
law to
they
fight
are
some of those
ignorant,
things?
And they are bold. It is because we tend to neglect a lot of things. People don't have the backbone to say, I want to sue you, and you know, people just keep doing things and getting over it. But But at some point in time, I don't
We
think
have to
you.
do the right
Yes, I don't
thing.
think it's going to be like this forever. People have to be held accountable. They have to be responsible. You don't you can't just do things because you have a phone and data. You just think you can do things anyhow. It is really and some of them have real life consequences.
Yes.
They do. Now let us look at our jobs, because it's like every area in our community life is affected. How do you think that social media is affecting our jobs today?
The honest truth is, I will talk because I am a teacher.
Okay.
Before now, you keep your phone very
Very
far.
very far when you're in class. But these days, with the social media environment around us, you see a teacher teaching, and at the same time, immediately the phone is ringing, the person is taking the call.
You're distracted,
You are
the students are distracted.
The student, but I know that those persons that are using this phone, that they came with this phone, that they brought us this phone, I know that when you are up there, when it's working period, you tell
It's work.
you tell them, please, I cannot get to you, only talk after or during break, I will get back to you. And they struggle to keep to it. But these are environment. That is why I started by, maybe those that came with it, they were supposed to give us some
guidelines.
some educational.
Are we going to
Yes.
follow those guidelines?
That's the episode.
It is all about phone. That is why
If God can give 10 commandments, you don't follow them.
I think that everybody wants to make money now, but on phone. Yes,
social media.
everybody wants to make. You see family doing content, and you see the kind of content they are creating, and you start asking yourself, is it only the social media money that they need?
It's only the social media money.
Everybody is now. The worst is in Nigeria. Everybody is a content
Content creator.
creator, and you see a family. They just sit and they just. You just need to know how to edit your video, and the next minute you are on social media working. Now at the end of the day, that means all of us will go back on social media to work that money there, because our real job life
Been affected.
is being affected. Even our Christian life too is being affected because of social media. You go to church and the next minute you see you see somebody pressing his or her phone. Check what that person is doing. He's on TikTok, he's on status, he's on Facebook. At the end of the day, that concentration, that listening is not there. Now we only think we are always on the move. Just to, there's somebody that will tell me that I prefer not to have credit, but let me have my data. Yes, the data the data should be there. Yes, I don't need credit, so that I should just go on social media and concentrate all the time. We are there. Well, some of us, we are just there. What are we learning? We don't know. We are on our job site, we are just manipulating. What are we learning? We don't know. We are in church, we are just manipulating. What are we doing? We don't know. At least they would have given us a, like I saw a video on social media when it was time for that man to go to bed. He was still manipulating his phone. Then he said, he has this set, I don't know. Then the robot just came and pulled the phone from him, hit him, and send him to bed. I think that there should be a kind of, the person that created all that social media or that Facebook, they would have given us another app that if you are not doing something useful there, they should just
They take you off the app.
Yes.
Now we are still talking about how social media affects our jobs. And I can remember a little girl was saying that, that was a few days ago, say that we are going to tell, our parents have decided that they will go to that school. Our madam just comes to class and say, open page, that, and be reading. And then she goes on her phone. And that's how she does. She has never given them notes. That little girl is just a neighbor around us. Never giving them notes, but just, the lady is just on her phone. So they will, just want you to put your voice on this, the ills on our jobs.
I think it's not just in teaching, even in hospitals, right? You go to hospitals these days, particularly our hospitals, particularly again government hospitals. It's kind of difficult. I think the impact is huge. It's just that unfortunately in our workforce we don't have adequate evaluation mechanism to evaluate, to see how certain aspect or certain behaviors are affecting our output or input in terms of what we do at work. But if you want to have an effective evaluation, you realize that most Cameroonians, particularly those in laissez-faire environment, they give in between 40 to 60% of their working hours into social media. People go to work, they already have a program about a particular person who will go live on Instagram at this time they have to follow. People go to work, they have a series they miss in the night they have to follow at work. People go to work, they have a latest movie on Netflix which was just released 2 days ago they have to watch. And so there are those things. Before you go now to the regular WhatsApp communication, your friend is sending you that this hair has just come out in Nigeria and those kind of things. So it seriously affects work and it distracts. But it is even more, it is riskier when we talk about those in the health sector. And those who are actually training the young children. Because at the end of the day, these people, they're talking about teachers, they don't end up giving the appropriate or the required curriculum that the students need for them to succeed. And so you have students who keep going ahead, but in terms of what they are acquiring, it is not equivalent or it is not as expected based on the standard. And that is why we have a lot of people who go to the school, university and graduate, but they are still not
up to.
You cannot
the university
you cannot classify them as learned persons. They can't talk, they can't write a CV, they can't do an application, they cannot defend themselves, they cannot tell you why they can help a company go in. They cannot do anything. But they have and the teachers are aware, because the teachers don't know that the students were not well taught. So the whole thing, the whole process, people just do it each other. The worst it is with some of these schools that are not really seriously mentored. But again, we can go on and on and on and on and on and on and we'll say that they can, in some countries, in some serious places that I know, when you go to work in the morning, there's a place to keep your phones.
Yes.
You only go and take your phone during break. You can make a call or you can check 1 or 2 messages and respond. When you're going back, you keep your phone. But again, I think we are very far from that. I think that's the only, because there's no other way. In some other places, some sites have been blocked. You don't have access to certain sites. You can have access to Facebook at work. You cannot have access to YouTube. You cannot have access. Those are all mitigating measures that different institutions have taken to ensure that people can contribute effectively. But with our current situation, even if you take away all of those, people still play cards. People will still crack a goosey. People will say, so it is.
And they still have their phones, because most of they are blocking it mostly on their machines.
So it is. You know, when a system has a serious problem, it is every small issue, it becomes very big to handle, like our system.
Oh, it is interesting. It's a sad situation, which we hope that we can learn to use social media more productive, to be more productive in the use of social media. Now, our students are not left out. Students are also being affected by the use of social media, and that's why I want us to look at how it affects students. These are our children, they are our brothers, they are our sisters, who we look up to. They say they are the leaders of tomorrow. So
exactly,
we have to look at some of these things which may affect them, which may prevent them from being those leaders we want to see tomorrow. Madam Sarah.
Madam Mira, the first thing is, I really condemn the act or the fact that we have discipline department in most schools, and students still carry their phones to school.
They're hiding it.
Yes, they do.
Because we have seen video, students still with their uniform, school environment, and what they are sharing.
Smoking.
They are smoking, and then the discussion coming out from their mouth. You start asking yourself that means there is a problem from the discipline bench right up to the parents, to the student. Because I will not lie and I will not think that, yes, the child can have that privilege to manipulate when it's weekend. When you need something, when you're still a student under your parent, there are some restrictions that they should give you, not you telling them what they need. That is why we are saying that that I think that kind of catalog period was very good, was a good one, because the parents were behind their children.
The only thing you could even watch was television, which was even black and white.
Yes.
And you were so privileged to have a black and white with all those
lines.
Yes, you were privileged to have it in your house.
There are parents that will follow their children with cane to school, but these days there are some the students, maybe they are even the one controlling the parents, and you hear that the students are beating teachers in school,
stabbing them to
death. All those things is because they have the gadgets with them, and they go online and see some of it. You know that we are hearing that in I've not been there, countries like America, the children have rights to bully. They just call the police to, and maybe some of those things.
Yeah, they have the right to call 911, whether it's 911.
Now those things are coming because we are gradually getting to that level. And if we don't stop the use, if we don't teach them how to use the phone, if we don't teach them what social media is meant for, now we start destroying their life, because most of them are on social media. They only go back to their book work when it's 1 month to GCE. And how do you make it? You see a child will go to school, during break they are doing video as they are smoking, as they are talking. I saw a video maybe from, I'm sure it was from one lycée around one secondary school around Uboya. That's how the children were. The kind of weather, Christmas is coming, any money guy may he hold and find, because we get out for take up. Those are still, maybe they're not even up to Form 5.
Exactly.
And they are saying those things.
And the younger ones are in the house. They are copying it.
Yes. And who are those helping them to get to that level? The parents. I always say it without missing word. Parenting is failing these days, because both the mother, the father, and the children, we are all on our phones. We are pressing it. Daddy comes back home. Daddy will not even call that. What happened today in school? How was school? What did you learn? How was it? That's your friend. Nothing. Daddy, I am tired. You just want to come with assignment. I am tired. Mom, I am tired. And the next minute, the two persons, they are on their phone. Yeah. And maybe they bought that person a tablet to distract that person to
use their tablet.
Then the whole house now is social media house.
We are living in the social media era, and just to highlight, or just to add my voice to the point you raised about students leaving their homes and parents not checking on their phones, is a crucial, it is something very crucial, because these phones are necessary to communicate with the students. But I think in school, like in COIB, I know they say if you come to school with your phone, you have the right to come to school with your phone. But when you come to school with your phone, you have to declare that you're with that phone, and you keep it in the office. And when it's break, you can check. Excuse me. And when it's closing, you can also take your phone, because parents can call to find out, have you closed, why are you not home, why are you not in the house on time. So, but I think that our students are still very exposed to the social media, even in school. Debo, you have anything to say on this?
Not much. I think that in terms of social media impact on students, it depends on the kind of phone. You see, there's a reason why we have different categories of phones, and there are phones and there are phones. So when we are talking, if the purpose is just to communicate with a child, just for a simple call, then you can get a phone that is meant just for calls. But if the purpose is to, because the character our children end up with, it is basically either what we give them or what they learn from outside. And as a result, if we don't do that effective policing in terms of following them up and knowing what they are doing at a particular time, we might fail. They might pick up those habits from other places. So if you want to buy a child what we call a choronko phone, which is just meant for calls and that's it, that's perfect. But when you start buying a child sophisticated phone, you install Instagram, you install Facebook, you install TikTok, and the child is very active. While the child signs up in school and leaves the phone at the gate, that child will automatically be distracted all through that period in class. Because by the time the child is being taken to school, the child is on phone. before the child enters class, the child must have abandoned a particular thing he or she was watching halfway, and when the child is in class, I was thinking of break to go and check that. So we must be very careful that if the purpose is to communicate by calling them, then let's get them a phone that can ensure we call them. If the purpose is to ensure that our students should become social media influencers, you want them to be sophisticated, then you can get them the latest phone. But
and you monitor the use.
And you monitor them. But again, whether you monitor it or you don't monitor it, each decision has a consequence.
Exactly.
Each decision you make will definitely have a consequence on the child. So it is up to the parent to make that decision and handle the consequences that will come with it.
Thank you so much. We are running out of time. When we come back, we are going to look at some of the ways in which we can curb this ill effect of social media. Let us take this message coming in. Blessed evening, beautiful Mira, and all at the studio. Wonderful discussion ongoing. Some of the positive effects are an ease in connection, a plus in being informed, whereas there is a decrease of face-to-face interactions leading to social isolation, and it facilitated the spread of misinformation, which can have negative consequences for community life. Dr. Senge. Thank you so much, Dr. Senge. We are rounding up. Can you just give us your conclusions should be ways in which we can mitigate this the ill use of social media? Let me hear from you, Madam Sarah, first.
Madam Mira, in a nutshell, we are just begging that social media is a very good platform, but let us reduce what we do on social media. Whatsoever we think of doing on social media should be that for a positive and not for a negative feedback. Do not do something that will destroy the society. Do not do something that will destroy yourself, and do not do something that will destroy the generation to come, because the way they are handling it today, tomorrow community life will no longer be there. I'll not have time to sit with you. My whole time and my whole friends, my whole life will be just on social media. Let us create time for our loved ones. Let us visit and chat and discuss and feel their pain and their joy, so that tomorrow we'll enjoy ourselves, even if the social media is no longer there. We don't know how heaven or hell look like. I don't know if there's social media there
in heaven or hell.
There will be no phone in heaven
then
or hell.
We are too attached with it here. When we get there, what are we going to do? So let us just learn not to be too attached to it, so that when we get to one of those places, we'll just
Say one of those places.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Madam Sarah.
I just think that we have to be disciplined, just like in any other thing. We have to, it's a force of good. We have to be disciplined. We have to use social media responsibly. We have to understand that in as much as it is there to help us to communicate, to learn, and to do business, there are also some of the ills that comes along with it. So we just have to be disciplined. We have to educate our children, our young ones in the house, on responsible use of social media. We have to normalize taking a social media break. It has to be normalized. You have to normalize going for some days you are not online, you are just off spending time with loved ones, or private, spending time with yourself. People don't love themselves these days, so there's that need for people to spend time and loving themselves. That's why they commit suicide, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, you need time with your loved one, yourself too. Learn to love yourself, learn to talk to yourself, learn to understand yourself. And I think it is what it is.
It is what it is, and honestly, we have to really take a break and stop those online, our people around us are no longer our reference points. Those we reference are those who are online, those who don't even know their story. So we have to love ourselves, like Debo has said, because when we watch some of these persons, we feel like we came to see them off in this world. You start hating yourself for who you are. But unfortunately, if you go back to the people you see them as your icons, you will have to applaud yourself for being who you are. So let us really take time off social media and reflect on our lives and have a reason for going, a positive reason for going or for using social media. And let us also teach our children in our families, let us have a break. Let us bring back that family bond together. Thank you so much for watching. And if you did enjoy the program, we have a rebroadcast on Saturday at 8 p.m. And this program comes up again on Friday at 5 p.m. As we leave you in the hands of the Lord, and we are wishing you a wonderful weekend. Bye-bye.
In the name of the Father, and of the